Hey friends, Dr. Hans here. Now, if you're worried about the stock or crypto market, this video is for you. So over the past 2 days, we've seen a dramatic shift in stock market sentiments, and we've seen a significant fall in crypto markets, right? Bitcoin is down about 10%, ETH is down about 11%. And for individuals who are not used to this level of volatility, it can seem a little bit concerning, right? You're probably wondering what's going on. So I wanted to record this video to kind of educate you on the series of events that are causing just what's going on in the market. So let's start out with this real estate firm by the name of Evergrande. So it is the second largest real estate developer in China. They managed to accumulate close to $300 billion worth of debt in building or establishing their business. Now, what recently was announced by Evergrande is that with the upcoming interest payment on their debt to certain banks and financial institutions, Evergrande is pretty much saying they won't be able to pay the interest on the debt. So it's kind of comparable to someone having a credit card and there's a minimum payment due, and then that individual is saying, hey, I don't have the money. So it's a huge problem. You have a company in China, a huge size, right? Second largest property developer in the country, saying that they don't have enough money to meet their debt obligation. In 2007, 2008, Lehman Brothers collapsed, right? Pretty much went bankrupt, and it sent shockwaves through the US financial system. Evergrande's condition can impact global financial markets. So it is one of the reasons that we're seeing market volatility today. So if you're listening to this and perhaps you have investments and you're wondering, what should you do? Obviously, if you're a long-term investor, which you should be, you do nothing, right? Or better yet, if you have some additional money on the side that is not earning or bringing you any returns, you can consider allocating more to your investments. Obviously, I'm not sharing it as financial advice to tell you what to do with your money, but that's what I would do. So Evergrande is causing, global financial markets to pretty much be in a state of panic. At the same time, there is an upcoming battle. And I want you to consider it a political battle. And it is surrounding the US, whether or not we can increase the amount of debt that we can take on. And if we're not able to get this debt ceiling raised, what it means is that the US will have to default because we have to be able to borrow more money. Now, it's quite fascinating. While we're looking at the US being able to borrow more money, right, to keep operations going, at the same time, we are looking at spending more money, right? A $3.5 trillion spending plan. There's a $1 trillion infrastructure plan. We spent multiple trillions of dollars on COVID. And I'm not here to point fingers to say don't spend, but it's quite fascinating that we're about to enter this stage where there's going to be a literal political brawl, right? One party wanting to spend money, wanting to raise the debt ceiling, another party wanting to not do any of that. right? They don't want to raise the debt ceiling. They don't want to spend another $3.5 trillion. So what is potentially going to happen is there's going to have to be some concessions. Unfortunately, the market does not believe that the two parties can come together to decide on the way forward. There is a possibility that the US government could shut down if an agreement is not reached about the debt ceiling, because the US has to borrow money to stay open. The US financial condition, the need to increase the debt ceiling to be able to keep operating as a country. Evergrande, as this real estate, property developer owing $300 billion, they have minimum payments or interest payments due. They can make it. Oh, and throw in the Federal Reserve this week having to make decisions on when it will start tapering. The federal or central bank, okay, or the Federal Reserve has been buying financial instruments, homes/mortgages, and also US bonds or US treasuries. They've been buying these instruments to prop up the US economy. Now, being that we're out of the COVID pandemic, they are starting to look at how do we cut back on, these expenses that we have. So that is what you're going to be hearing more about, tapering. Well, markets are kind of jittery and concerned about that. So you layer in Evergrande, you throw in, political parties about to fight it out about the debt ceiling, you throw in what the Federal Reserve is potentially going to do. You just have a setup for an extremely volatile market. So I'd urge you for the next, week or two, especially for the month of September, expect some form of continued volatility. So friends, I hope you enjoyed kind of like a summary of what's going on. If you're panicking, I encourage you to take a long-term perspective and view as it relates to investing. Right? You are not a trader. You are a long-term investor. That is how wealth is built. So don't panic. Stick with investing for the long term. Ride out the volatility and you'll be fine, my friend. So if you haven't done this already, go ahead, click the subscribe button so that you get notified anytime I have a new video up. I'll catch you on the next video.